Hi, I'm Kecia Lewis, and this is a look back at my career and my time at Hell's Kitchen. Entry into the arts. I was a latchkey kid. My generation is latchkey kids. So I would come home from school and I would be home by myself maybe for 45 minutes before my mom got home from work. So I watched a lot of TV. And in watching TV, I was just always fascinated at people who had the ability to make people laugh, those laugh tracks. I was, really enamored with what I was seeing on television and wanted to do that. I wanted to make people laugh. Now, I didn't know it was a laugh track. I thought it was real people laughing, but that's the earliest memories. Yeah. My first TV hero was Lucille Ball. I gravitated towards the comedians. So I love Lucille Ball. I love Carol Burnett. Sonny and Cher was like the first variety show I watched, and seeing, them playing different characters and doing skits and then singing and sometimes serious songs and stuff. I just wanted to do all of that. So, and the Flip Wilson show was a big one because that was the only variety show that I can recall as a kid that I was able to watch. So that was the first time I saw an African American person, and he was playing men and women on his variety show, and had all these cool guests and stuff. So yeah, all of that caused me to get bit by the bug. I grew up here in New York City, so they would always take kids to see shows. So the earliest show that I can remember is the Me Nobody Knows. So that was the first time it was like, oh, people can be on stage too and do this, because all I knew was kind of TV until I went, to see stuff. I went to the High School of Performing Arts, and there was a teacher there, Mrs. Shine, who went to see Dreamgirls around its opening, which was December 1981. Yes, I'm telling my age. I graduated in June of '82. And I was 16 when I graduated, about to turn 17. So Mrs. Shine came to school and said, I saw this show and the lead character reminds me of you, and you should see this show. So I was like, okay. I didn't know what it was at all. And then the Tonys came that June, 6 months later, and I saw Jennifer Holliday. That whole fight scene beforehand, it was like my brain did like an imprint of, I could totally see myself doing that. And my high school boyfriend treated me to see the show for my 17th birthday, which was the end of June. And I sat in the Imperial Theater, and when she finished, and I'm telling you, I couldn't move from my seat. I was like literally glued, and that was like even more of an imprint on my brain. So I didn't have an agent. I was going to college. I was going to NYU, and they had the two show business newspapers at the time, Showbiz and Backstage, and they came out on Wednesdays and Thursdays, and I would go get that newspaper and circle all the things that I thought I was right for, as like want ads. And I started auditioning for Dreamgirls. I was going to open calls. I went to 6 open calls over the course of 2 years. And I had no agent. And that was at the time when you could call a casting director and remind them of you, kind of thing. So I did that every couple of months. The casting director was Vinnie Liff. And one day Vinnie Liff called me and he said, all right, you're gonna get your shot. Michael Bennett and Michael Peters want to see you and one other woman to understudy the role of Effie White. So I went into that audition. I auditioned for Michael Bennett, Michael Peters. I was scared to death, but I did the best I could. And I had had all this practice from doing all those open calls. And when we were finished, it was me and another woman. And when we were finished, Vinnie Liff said, okay, they asked us to stay. And then he said, they've made their decision. Do you want to know now or later? I said now. She said later. And he said, well, I'm going to go with the person who actually got the job. So Kecia, you have the job. Ran to the payphone, called my mom, and then went to the Imperial Theater that night to watch the show from backstage and begin that process. So that was my kind of Cinderella story. And I thought everybody got a Broadway show that way, but I found out later that was not the case. And that was the beginning. For me, that very first show was the one that gave me my show habits. I watched how people moved and did things. And some of the things were not good, and I picked up some bad habits that I had to let go of over time. But the primary thing that I picked up was come to work early, be prepared, make sure you can sing it, make sure your body is warm, you know, to the best of your ability. Now, sometimes being an understudy, I wouldn't find out until, you know, at the 15-minute call that I was on. So you do the best you can. Sometimes that first number on stage, which for me was Move, that song Move, that was my warm-up. So I was warming up as I was singing. I was moving my body in a certain way to get it limber enough to do, you know, the rest of the show. And I learned about how to be in a company, because sometimes you can get tricked when you're playing a lead role into thinking that the show is all about you, and it is not. So because I was the baby of the company also, my elders had no problem straightening me out when I would act like a brat or not be prepared. Shirley Ralph helped me with my makeup.
Maybe the second time that I went on, I was doing my best to do my makeup, and it was trash. And Miss Ralph was kind enough, you probably do not remember this, but I was walking, because your dressing room was before mine. And I was walking past, and you said, darling, come here. And you said, sit down. Let me show you how to do your face. And she did my makeup and taught me how to do my makeup. I will never forget that.
She taught me some things. Loretta Devine taught me some things. Ben Harney, Cleavant Derricks were the big brothers / uncles that taught me some things. And I also, on that show, I met Adrienne Lennox, who is still a friend of mine, close friend of mine. She really befriended me when I first walked in the door. She taught me a lot of things. And it was just a lot of observation. When I was corrected, I took the correction. I may not have liked it, but I took it because I felt like these people knew way more than I did, so I needed to listen and not give them pushback. Even though it was hard, I appreciate it now. I really do appreciate it. I was understudying or standby for Nell Carter and Armelia McQueen. It was the revival of the 1978 Ain't Misbehavin', so it was all the original cast. This was 10 years later. And so I got to work with all the originals. Ken Page became a very close friend and an uncle of sorts. And my experience with that show, I was a standby and I was covering 2 roles. So a swing-ish, and that was really hard. And I learned that that is not something that was right for me. Because it was so hard there were numbers that both of those ladies were in, so I had to learn numbers that they were in together. Like Nell was on the right side of my body, Armelia was the left side of my body. So I had to learn, it was like topsy-turvy, and I'm not a trained dancer, I move well. So it was, and singing different parts. Nell was the bottom or the middle of the vocals of the 5 people, and Armelia was usually the top vocals. So knowing when I was singing what and not mixing that up, that was hard. But the best thing I remember about that experience was I got to watch Nell Carter a lot. And Nell Carter taught me comic timing.
You know, when I sing a love song, I like the lights to go down way low. And I like that spotlight just to creep right on up under my chins.
Just watching her. I watched how she would take the temperature of the audience from the first time she hit the stage. I watched how she would maneuver. She was doing the same thing every night, but it was always kind of tailored to what was going on with the company and what was going on with that audience. And she was a master at comic timing. So Once on This Island was right after Ain't Misbehavin'. So after Ain't Misbehavin', that experience, I made a decision that I didn't want to understudy anymore and I didn't want to stand by anymore. And I just kind of made that decision within myself. And I had one more offer to stand by for a show that I said no to. And then the next audition was Once on This Island. And so that was my first time in a principal role and getting to originate a show. That was a beautiful experience. It was Lynn Ahrens and Stephen Flaherty's first big hit. They had one show before us. I can't remember what the show was. It was about a dead guy. I don't remember. But Once on This Island, working with them was really beautiful because they tailored a lot of the music for our voices. And working with LaChance, that was the first time that we got to work together. We had met once, but we weren't friends until that show. I really, really enjoyed that. It felt like I was putting my creativity into something. Of course, there was something already established, but the creative team was interested in my input and interested in the way I sang things and maybe shifting things, letting me play in rehearsal and that become a part of the show and what winds up in the songbook, something that I made up in rehearsal or in a performance that they said, keep that, keep that. So that was really exciting and I wanted more and more of that. The Drowsy Chaperone was really fun. I remember my agent at the time calling me about this show and I was like, the what? Like what? And I'm playing a pilot? Like what is this? And what I remember most about The Drowsy Chaperone, it was a wonderful experience, again, creating a role that I loved. And I wasn't in very much of the show. Like the role of Trix, the aviatrix, she appears in the beginning and then at the end. So I had a lot of downtime. That was also the beginning of me learning that I could do some other things while I was in the building, sitting in my dressing room. So I started to write a little bit and make some plans about maybe doing a cabaret, those kinds of things. But a couple of things about Drowsy Chaperone. One, I got to work with my high school classmate, Danny Burstein. We had not worked together before, and Danny was very quiet in high school. We were in the performing arts school, he was in the drama department, I was in the drama department, but he was very quiet. So seeing him create Aldolfo, I was like, who is this dude? And what happened to the Danny that I knew in high school? And it was just a blast to watch him and Beth Level create those roles. And the other thing I love and remember about Drowsy Chaperone is at the time we jokingly said we were the oldest cast on Broadway. Sutton Foster was the baby. And if I remember correctly, she was barely 30. So we were an older cast and a lot of us had children. And so there was a settledness in the building and a joy in learning one another as people and enjoying one another as people that I hadn't experienced before. And it was really beautiful. It was really beautiful. And they allowed us to have the kids come to the theater on the weekends. And we had like a deal that we worked out, designated dressing room, designated space. Somebody was always watching the kids, and it wasn't a whole bunch of kids. It was probably like 4 kids. My kid being one of them. My son was 4 at the time. And working with Georgia Engel, who was one of my heroes, you know, from the Mary Tyler Moore Show, watching that as a kid. So it was It was a really beautiful time, and it showed me a way of Broadway that I hadn't experienced before, which was kind of a settled enjoyment of each other as a company and doing this madcap, ridiculous show that people didn't know what it was and were joyfully surprised at what that show was. It was great. Children of a Lesser God so far has been the one and only play that I've done on Broadway. And working with Kenny Leon was really a wonderful experience. My role was not big, but it was significant in that she was kind of the antithesis of the lead. She's the mom, but she wants different things than what her daughter wants. And I had learned sign language when I was a Girl Scout. So it just so happened that helped when I was doing this show. I had to learn ASL, but just a little bit because my character didn't really want to engage in that. She wanted her daughter to learn to read lips. So that was, it was interesting to learn it, but not use it, or to learn how to use it in a way that was not flowing, but was uncomfortable. But doing a play, it was like, oh, this is what not singing my throat out feels like in doing a show. More of this, please. This was wonderful. So I'm glad I got to do that show.
You are here because the voices of your ancestors have requested your presence. Sit. Learn.
Yeah, this was fun. Figuring out, learning and deciding who Miss Liza Jane was, what type of teacher she was. This is the first moment where she gets to talk about the necessity of having regard for your ancestors, having regard for your past. And it's actually a privilege to say that line. It kind of evolved into something that was kind of funny, but I'm not going for the comedy, I'm going for the seriousness of it. And I think usually it's nervous laughter that happens, but yeah, that delivery, I don't get to watch myself, so that's a whole lot. Those poor alleys. That's a lot coming at them. I had a lot of Miss Liza Janes, and what I actually wound up doing was putting pictures of all of them in my phone, all in one place where I could look at them and pull from them and draw from them. And what I recognized about her was that she had this tough exterior, but as my friend LaChance calls me, is really like a 3-minute egg. You know, hard on the outside, very soft and mushy on the inside. And so I had some Miss Liza Janes like that in my life. And I can be like that, which I'm frequently told I am. So pulling that into a teacher was something that I just had to figure out. And what's interesting is, for me as an actor, working with various alleys, right? So we have Malia at the beginning, and she and I, figured out what that looked like for the two of us. And the other alleys that have come, understudied, Jade Milan taking over, now Amanda. It's finding that back and forth with who their alley is, because it's not just a set thing. So like, for example, when I go on with Mikkel, who's one of our understudies right now, Mikkel is a softer alley. She's not as much of a rough brat as some of the other ones have been. So I don't come at her quite as hard. So it's tempering that. And that's a nice challenge for an actor. It feels kind of scientific, if you will. What I'll miss most about her is her playfulness that Allie brings out of her. I love the way the different alleys have kind of brought out that side, like teasing her a little bit. And I'll miss playing that.
People, stop texting me, Jesus.
Alicia clutched her pearls.
I would like to thank you, God, my first, my last, my everything. Thank you to the American Theater Wing and the Broadway League and every one of the fierce, fabulous female thespians in this category.
I'm getting weepy already. So, I kept hearing all through Tony's season, you're going to win, you're going to win, you're going to win, right? But my personality is, I'm more of a realist. I'm kind of like, whether you should or are gonna, you just don't know until they open that envelope. So I had to work really hard at not letting a lot of that in. But still, you have a hope, right? Especially when you've been doing this for as long as I have. Maybe this will be the one. And usually first-time nominees don't necessarily win. So I was thinking about that. So when I got up on that stage and I looked out at all those people, many of which I have known for decades, many of which I had just met over the course of doing the show. Oh, I need a tissue. And had poured some of what I've learned over the years into. It was really monumental for me. It was very meaningful for me. And I wrote that speech over probably the course of a week, just kind of listening for what would be important to say, to make sure I said it. And as I was writing it, I was coming to the realization that so many people are involved in a quote-unquote Tony-winning performance. Nobody does that by themselves, and I certainly did. So every person that I named in that speech, particularly God first, is the reason why I got that Tony. And I just wanted to express my gratitude, and I'm very grateful that I got to do that. And I've heard over and over again, over a year now since, how that speech impacted people. And I'm very grateful for that. Grammy!
This is from the Recording Academy. Dear Kecia Lewis, congratulations on your recognition at the 67th Grammy Awards. It is my great honor and genuine joy to send you this Grammy Award. Holding this gramophone in your hands, I hope you feel the weight of what it truly represents. This is not a trophy decided by journalists, executives, critics, or algorithms. This is a recognition given by your peers. Over 13,000 fellow music creators who listened, felt, and voted to honor your artistry. That kind of acknowledgement from those who understand just how hard this path can be is rare and meaningful, and you've earned it. Everything you sing.
So I asked them to send the Grammy to the theater because I knew I wanted to share it with whoever was around that day. I didn't know how, it was gonna go, how it was gonna turn out. And I was looking at it in my room and I thought, how am I gonna share it? And I hadn't pulled it out of the box that was literally the first time I pulled it out of the box. And I just went to a few people in the company and I said, I wanna open this box with you guys. That's important to me. We watched it happen in the women's ensemble dressing room. And so this felt right, to open it in the women's ensemble dressing room in the Oasis.
On it, work on it, we got that Grammy!
Getting a Grammy as a part of this musical was not even in my thought process. I wanted a Grammy when I was in my 20s. I thought I was going to be a recording artist first, but that didn't happen. theater hit first. So this was very special, and it was honestly a dream I had forgotten about. Hadn't even thought about it anymore. So this was really special, and to be with all of these babies. And Onyx is next to me, Onyx Noel, who is my daughter, my work daughter, and having her next to me, that means a lot. And then
Kecia has built an impressive career, starring in shows like The Drowsy, Chaperone, Chicago, Leap of Faith, Children of a Lesser God, and many more, including her very first role on Broadway was standing by for Effie in the original Broadway production of DREAMGIRLS at 18 years old.
Super excited and proud that she's
Onyx.
getting her flowers today.
All the kids.
She takes the work so seriously, and she
Lost
also takes the friendship so seriously.
Our veteran who told us
Jackie.
what to do and how to move and what this experience is going to feel like. We didn't feel left out to dry. We felt completely held by her kindness and her generosity.
I am feeling so full. I don't really have words. Gratitude, joy, accomplishment.
Whew.
I'm just really full. Really full.
Yeah, so the relief that poetry came out good, oh my God, because I was nervous. You never know how it's going to turn out. You don't see it until the moment that they unveil it, and you see it the same time everybody else does. They don't let you see it ahead of time. That was a very special moment. Yet another dream that I had not really thought about much from my younger years. Seeing all those people on that wall coming into this business and going, man, I'd like to have my picture up there one day. I don't know how that'll happen, you know, because when you're 19, 20 years old, you don't. You hope, but you don't. And having all those people there, and my dear sister LaChance being there, and Adrienne Lennox, my other dear sister, two of my closest friends, having them there that day was very, very special. And my son was there. That was important. He came down from work. He was working in Maine so that he could be there. And really special. You don't get to the season of life I'm in on Broadway without the people that you work with. You just don't. And I'm very clear about that. And even though my character only interacts with two people in the whole show, Allie and Jersey, even though that's the case, everyone who does this show, everyone who makes up this company, creates something on the stage every single day that I get to step into and do my part. We all have a part to play. And having the privilege of making these friendships, many of these friendships will last for decades. And my dresser, Meredith, being in this photo, and the house manager. These are all people I pray for. Cast, crew, front of house, back of house, everybody's family connected. I pray for them. And I see some of the results of that prayer in the presence of God on that stage, in this photo, in our relationships. All of it is right there. And I will treasure that more than anything else. Closing remarks. I'm grateful for Alicia Keys deciding that she wanted to be a part of this community and tell this story. I'm very grateful that she allowed me to be a part of it. I'm very grateful, as I've already said, for this cast and crew, front of house staff, back of house staff. Everybody has been a joy in my life. And I'm grateful for some of the difficulties, because it's not all cakewalk. Broadway is hard, y'all. So I'm grateful for the difficulties, because if you will take the time to learn from them, you will be stronger and have more to contribute to yourself, your own life, and the lives of other people. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful for Hell's Kitchen. Grateful for all of it.